Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment trial starts tomorrow in Austin. Plus, the Goliad County Sheriff's Office arrested 4 people in connection to a human smuggling event. Plus, a new Texas law requires drunk drivers to pay a child support if they kill the guardian.
A few light showers in the area. More than anything, we're dealing with the heat once again. We're going to talk all about that and more. First, here's Zach.
Plus, the Houston Astros and Texas Rangers locked in what many are saying is the most important Lone Star Series ever. I'll have that coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker has the night off. A Victoria teen died after being hit by a vehicle while crossing East Red River Street in Navarro. Friday night around 8:25 p.m., Victoria police officers responded to East Red River and Navarro in response to a crash involving a car and a pedestrian. Their investigation revealed 15-year-old was crossing the intersection westbound when he failed to yield right of way and was struck by a northbound vehicle operated by a 43-year-old man. The teen was transported to an area hospital before being transferred to an out-of-town hospital where he died from his injuries. VPD said there were no citations issued. Victoria Police Department confirmed a body was found in a bathroom near the Victoria Youth Sports Complex. A maintenance worker located the body inside a bathroom during a routine cleaning at 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Officers say the body was found and identified as 41-year-old unhoused man from the area. Victoria Police Department continues to investigate the situation, and we will continue to update the story as information becomes available. Last week, the Goliad County Sheriff's Office arrested these 4 people during a traffic stop in connection to a human smuggling event. The Sheriff's Office said their investigation revealed 4 female U.S. citizens were working together to smuggle a Honduran man from the Valley to Houston. The 3 women were arrested for smuggling and engaging in organized criminal activity, and the man was arrested for engaging in organized criminal activity as well. And now let's take a look at your forecast with meteorologist Howie Gordon, who has the latest on our Labor Day weather.
Thanks, Karina. Okay, so yeah, we are seeing some light showers, but more than anything, yeah, the heat really turned up today. We were at about 111 with the heat indices, but for now, we did stay under 100 for ambient temperatures, but the stuffiness was there, and it looks to come back, if you will, as we cool down a little bit. Those will return to the area, but hey, we have some light showers. Most of the activity, again, though, staying off to the northeast. We could still see some light showers next couple days as the heat turns back on. We'll talk about all that and more coming up very soon. Karina.
Howie, thank you. The Texas State Senate impeachment trial of suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton begins tomorrow. As the only 3rd official to be impeached in the state's history, Paxton faces 20 articles of impeachment, including alleged obstruction of justice, abuse of public trust, and bribery. He has described the allegations as a, quote, politically motivated sham, unquote. A 2/3 majority is required in the Republican-controlled Senate to remove officials from office. The trial begins at 9 a.m. locally Tuesday morning. A Labor Day weekend party at a Galveston Airbnb ended with 2 men dead and multiple people hurt. The incident happened early Sunday morning during an altercation. The owner of the house said it was the first time he rented it out as an Airbnb.
Saw chaos. There were kids everywhere and just screaming, crying. One kid was laying on the ground and he got taken by ambulance. It was just really sad. And then another guy here was laying on the ground. He was just drunk. They were so drunk they couldn't even stand up.
It is unclear if there was only one shooter or multiple. No arrests have been made. A suspect is in custody in connection to the fatal shooting at a Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas last week. 21-year-old Matthew Prudy Jr. arrested for the murder of Wes Smith, a junior finance major at the university. Detectives investigating the homicide said Smith was shot as he stood in the street and that the gunman assaulted a woman as he ran away. The suspect gave police a statement admitting to, quote, approaching Wes, who he didn't know, and shooting him 3 times, unquote. The suspect remains in custody in the Tarrant County Jail and is being held on a $500,000 bond. 23 people in a Houston area Denny's were hurt this morning after a vehicle crashed into the wall of the restaurant. As you can see, it was going fast enough to break through the wall and completely entering the building. It's not known exactly what led to the crash, but police say none of the injuries are life-threatening and the driver was not hurt. Convicted drunk drivers in Texas will be required to pay child support if they kill a child's guardian. House Bill 39-3 states the convicted drunk driver will be expected to make payments to the child until the child is 18 years old or until the child graduates from high school. State law defines intoxication manslaughter as a person operating a motor vehicle in a public place. That includes an aircraft, watercraft, or an amusement ride. The new law went into effect Friday. Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you think House Bill 39-3 will stop people from drunk driving? Yes or no? According to these results, 5% say yes and 95% say no. Thank you for voting. We're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. We turn now to Ohio, where police released body cam footage and the fatal officer-involved shooting of a pregnant woman. Authorities are also trying to explain why they haven't released the names of the officers involved. A warning, the video may be disturbing to viewers.
Protesters taking to the streets in Ohio
Say her name, Kaya!
after police released this body camera footage showing the moments an officer fatally shot 21-year-old Takaya Young, a mother of two, who was 7 months pregnant with her third child. You see Young getting into her car at Kroger's grocery store in Blendon Township about a week and a half ago when an officer attempts to stop her. Police say a store employee had suspected her of shoplifting.
Out of the car. They said, "You stole stuff, do not leave. Get out of the car." Then get out.
Young saying other girls had stolen, not her, as a second officer gets in front of her car, pointing his gun at Young through the windshield. She asks, "Are you going to shoot me?" Young then turns her steering wheel and inches toward the officer, who fired a single shot, killing Young and her unborn child.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
A key question here is whether by taking a position in front of the car, the police officer placed himself in direct jeopardy and increased the likelihood that a lethal encounter would ensue.
Her family calling the officer's actions a hateful act, demanding his name be released and that he be terminated and indicted.
It was 2 people murdered that day, her and her little baby girl.
Ohio's Bureau of Investigation tells ABC that officer-involved shootings take time to resolve and that the names of the officers aren't being released because that would amount to them being uncharged suspects in an ongoing investigation. The officer who fired his weapon remains on administrative leave. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The game preserve fire grew to over 40,000 acres in Walker County, Texas. However, it is now 60% cover. The fire no longer poses immediate threats and no homes were lost. All evacuation orders have been lifted as fire crew efforts continue with assistance from the Florida Forest Service. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button, click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a Florida home shooting leaves a 1-year-old dead and police scurry to find answers. Also ahead in New York, shelters struggle to make room for incoming migrants. Authorities in Florida investigating after a 1-year-old girl was shot in Palm Coast Sunday night. Deputies were called to the scene around 11:45 p.m. and found an 18-month-old girl with a gunshot wound upon arrival. She was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The county sheriff Rick Staley did not rule out the possibility that the shooting was accidental, but said that the child did not touch the firearm. A person of interest, 21-year-old C.J. Nelson, has been identified.
He was arrested for violation of probation. He was on probation for a gun-related offense and was not allowed to be in possession of any weapons as a condition of his probation. In fact, he is being booked into the county jail right now as I'm speaking. He has not been charged with this death yet.
All 8 people inside the home at the time of the shooting are still being investigated. There is a meeting planned between the leaders of Russia and North Korea. According to the New York Times, Kim Jong-un plans to travel to Russia in September to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to the paper, the meeting is to discuss the possibility of supplying weapons for the war in Ukraine. The New York Times broke this story on Monday, citing U.S. and allied sources. The migrant situation escalates as New York families experiencing homelessness are packing up to move from one shelter to another as the city tries to make room for incoming asylum seekers.
Parents and kids waited around Friday outside this Bronx family shelter where many have been living for months. This week, shelter staff began telling them to pack up and get out.
They tell us that we can't stay here no more, that other people need this space.
Some families have already been relocated to different shelters around the 5 boroughs. Others will be moved next week. Maidi is an asylum seeker who came with her 4 relatives last year. They're moving from a studio in the shelter to a hotel room.
They got to pay for the storage because, you know, on the hotel, they're not going to allow her to get a lot of stuff, only the clothes.
Nelly Bernardez lives in the shelter with his kids and wife. She just gave birth to their new son 5 days ago. In Spanish, Bernardez told us the city gave his family 2 hours notice to clear out and move to their new location. And as of Friday night, shelter staff let his postpartum wife and kids back inside to pack, but locked him out.
They're telling us that they're going to put us in a hotel, and in the hotel we don't have what to eat. There's no place for us to cook. And we need help.
The city's Department of Social Services told us with nearly 60,000 asylum seekers now in their care, DSS is trying to maximize capacity at their shelters to meet the needs of both asylum seekers and long-term homeless New Yorkers.
These are children, these are disabled people, elderly people, people with language barriers, cultural barriers, and we need actually the help of somebody.
It's not the first time this has happened. Last month, DSS moved families out of a different Bronx shelter on a day's notice.
So many questions with no answers, honestly. You know, and these people, they need a voice.
A DSS spokesman told us in part, the city and our not-for-profit provider partners work closely with our clients to make sure we are preserving stability as much as possible when transfers occur. In the Claremont section of the Bronx, Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
A motorist is in the hospital after spending 5 days trapped in a wrecked vehicle at the bottom of a cliff. Fire crews in California rescued the person Saturday. The pickup truck was at the bottom of a 100-foot cliff about 60 miles south of Bakersfield. 4 firefighters were lowered to the scene using a rope rescue team. Since the motorist was immobilized, they used a basket to raise the person to safety.
Another hot one here in the Crossroads and some light showers as well. We'll talk all about that straight ahead. was just speaking with Karina a second ago. You know, what a bad day to start a diet, because as I see this, corn with butter on it, barbecue, oh no. I might have to wait till tomorrow, but I've been doing good so far today. But Labor Day celebrations, happy Labor Day, everyone. One of the grilliest holidays of the year. Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. That's right. Now here's what we got for tonight. Hey, warm this evening and into Monday morning. You're headed back to school or work, still 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies. All right, here's what we got today. Slight rain chances in the next couple days, today included. Unreasonable heat. That returns, or that has returned, dry or drier. I know we haven't had a wash up, but we're looking at drier times as the heat begins to really escalate once again. So at the moment, unless we have a recalibration, we're at 99, getting held under 100. That was tough to do most of the summer. Now we're above average by 6 degrees, but look at that, back in 2000, 110 degrees. Wow. All right, what happened today? Sun to stabilize us. Storms pulling away, but still leaving moisture. The sea breeze moving inland, kind of cooling us as it moves inland, but it brought some showers to the area. Again, most of this activity staying in the northeast and then really off to the northeast where most of that activity is taking place. We could see similar conditions as yesterday and today through the next couple days. But again, how much rain did we really get? Not too much. For the time being, our watches and warnings and advisories have stayed off to the southwest. I'm expecting these to return, though, as heat indices start pushing 115 degrees and counting as more moisture moves in and high pressure moves in to trap that moisture. For now, again, these watches and warnings stay just out of the viewing area. All right, these are coming up again, and I'm expecting them to because more moisture is going to move into the area on the coast. Just really uncomfortable. Moving away from the water a little bit better, but still close to 70 in most of those locations. So we hit 111 earlier heat indice-wise, 99 temperature-wise. So temperatures were down a little bit, but hey, these heat indices took off because there's moisture getting trapped in the area that's going to continue to move in. So yeah, we're going to start to see maybe 110 to even potentially 150, not completely indicating it that here on this graphic, but looking ahead, hey, some of these graphics are saying 113, 111. So yes, that oppressive heat looks to return for at least 2, 3, maybe 4 days. Why is all this happening? Now, I just talked about it. Sea breeze moving inland with the showers, but a lot of this moisture and storm activity pushing away. But as the low-level moisture continues to move in, high pressure starts to inch closer, pretty much going to hang out in West Texas for days and days, and we'll be under the influence of that high. That high is going to trap all this moisture, and that's right. Temperatures will climb as well as those heat indices. Again, we were looking at 113, maybe even 115 and warmer. Rain-wise, very minuscule. I mean, these showers are very, very much scattered in nature. Most locations not seeing much rain at all, and if it's coming down, it's not coming down for a very long time. So yeah, we've had a couple of days of some light showers. It's going to get even lighter, probably down to nothing for a good portion of the week. Now here's what we got for a marine forecast. Water-wise, hey, still, look at that, 93 degrees, seas 2 to 3 feet. That will keep our bays, though, slightly on the choppy side. All right, what's going on in the tropics? We're keeping some eyes, what to look out for, what not to. Gert, no. Katia, no. Really a post-tropical cyclone. They should start to continue to dissolve. Now, we have disturbance up here, way up there in the North Atlantic. Probably going to come down here near Madrid. Could cause problems out there, but we only got a 20% chance of further development, and it's not coming our way. But what we're going to keep an eye on, this one's a little premature right here out on the coast of Africa. It's still in Africa, going to move out. But hey, this feature here, a 60% chance or better of strengthening. It's headed in the vicinity of the Caribbean. It gets in there, then yes, that's right. We'll continue to keep an eye on that feature. We'll be in the 80s this evening. Overnight dropping down to 79 tomorrow for Tuesday. Back to work, back to school. 97. Heat indices pushing 110 degrees. And looking ahead, as our light rain comes down, it becomes even lighter with more sunshine, maybe more moisture getting trapped, and thus heat indices potentially going to be on the rise later on in the week. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And now we send it back to Karina.
Thanks, Howie. Howie, you got to stick to your diet because if you lose, I lose too. We're in this together. All righty, up next, Zach Brown with sports.
Well, the Astros and Rangers are maybe their biggest series of the season. I'll have that coming up in sports. We're in the home stretch of the MLB season, and the Astros and Rangers locked in the biggest series of their season up to this point in Arlington. The Rangers jumped out to an early 2-0 lead off the bat of Corey Seager. They would eventually go up 3-0, but in the fifth, Houston heating up after a base knock gets Houston on the board. This seeing eye single going to play 2 more to tie the game, but later on, Corey Seager is going to strike again. This bomb's going to put Texas back up 4-3, but back come the Astros. Mauricio Dubon answers that home run to tie it, and right after him, Altuve one-ups him and puts one in the second deck. Back-to-back bombs for the lead. The Astros put up 6 runs in the 7th. They just got done beating the Rangers 13-6, and that's huge because while those two battled it out for the chase for in the West, the first-place Mariners who were the Seattle Mariners, who were first coming into today, got dropped by the Cincinnati Reds. Final score was 6-3, meaning the Astros, with their win today, are tied for first, although the M's do have the tiebreaker over Houston. Well, it's a new week for Texas high school football, and that means we've got more big games on hand. This Friday, a battle of 2 giants, the Edna Cowboys, who are ranked number 3 in Class 3A, and the Refugio Bobcats, who are number 2 in Class 2A, will battle it out in Refugio. The Bobcats won the matchup last year, a game that Coach Jason Herring says was the turning point for his very young team. Both squads get a great measuring stick this Friday. Another gigantic game this week, one of the oldest rivalries in Texas high school football, the Cuero Gobblers and Yoakum Bulldogs. Yeah, last year Cuero won big, but this is a different Yoakum team with transfer quarterback Zachary Taylor and 4-star receiver Xavier Barnett. The Gobblers also honoring the 1973 team that won a state title. It'll mark 50 years since the accomplishment. That game in Cuero. Now from the high school level to the college ranks, this weekend saw some local stars make their marks. In Texas's game, they were down 3-0 early, but that is former Hallettsville Brahma star Jonathan Brooks with the Longhorns' first touchdown on the season as Texas beats the Rice Owls 37-10. And keeping it in the Brooks family, this is Dalton Brooks with the big hit in the backfield. Dalton out of Shiner, Texas. They also saw Reuben Owens with a few nice runs in his first game. The Aggies had their way with New Mexico en route to a 52-10 victory. And some UHV news, their soccer program seeing some early success. Einar Rolfson was named Red River Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Week. That's it for your sports. Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. We're back in a moment. We have the National Wing Eating Champion up next. Miki Sudo and Joey Chestnut may have been front and center at Sunday's U.S. Chicken Wing Eating Championship, but it was Australia's James Webb who became the champion of the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Webb devoured 276 chicken wings in 12 minutes, setting a new world record. Joey Chestnut finished second, consuming 240 wings, and Miki Sudo, last year's champion, put away 231 wings. People from 43 states and 24 counties attended this year's National Buffalo Wing Festival.
So this is the big thing in Australia, whereas the hot dogs is here?
Well, no, they had it in New York, but
Oh, that was New York?
that was New York.
Oh, I thought it was in
But
Australia.
but Australia, the guy from Australia won.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
I mean,
okay.
I can only eat like 10 wings and.
You guys
like,
never did the
30
competition at like Buffalo Wild Wings?
No.
I did the blazing challenge. I didn't know how hot they really were.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I finished 2 of them and I just took it to go box and I lost
Those
the
are too
challenge.
hot. Those are
They're
way
way
too
too hot.
hot.
It took me 2 days to eat
What are
them.
they, ghost pepper?
I don't know what it is.
Must
So
be
I'll
ghost
never
pepper.
taste it again.
I love food as much as anyone on the planet, but I don't feel like stuffing
Like
myself
stuffing,
to
right?
capacity.
How do you eat 243 of those?
I don't. That's just.
243
I usually will
wings.
look away. I don't want to see that. 'Cause it
I do
gross.
too.
Yeah,
We
see,
actually had a story about the hot dog eating contest. I had to look away. They were just.
it's disgusting.
Ugh.
I apologize. But I just can't.
It makes me feel uneasy. It makes me
Yes.
feel
Why,
uneasy.
why eat yourself into sickness? But I guess. There's
You get
different
paid to do
flavors.
it, you do it.
There's different strokes for different folks. There's things out there for everybody, and that's just not out there for me. But what's here is Labor Day.
Right,
What's the
right.
weather like out there? So we had some light showers. It's a grilly holiday. Hopefully you don't eat everything on the grill. You spread it out for everybody in the party. Now we could see these light showers next couple of days, but for the most part, we're dealing with the heat. The heat's looking to return, and we're gonna have a hot week ahead.
All right, thank you, Howie. Thank you, Zach, and thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.
I talk so.